One. Let's get started.
Welcome to an episode of Kawaii Conversations with your host, Lady Masquerade. Let's chat.
Hello, hello, hello. Y'all, this is a snowed in day for everybody. Well, it's a snowed in week for everybody right now. So I figured, why not give y'all something to watch? So today we're going to get into how to cosplay or how to start cosplaying for those of you that haven't quite figured it out yet. And I'm going to give you just a few tips to help you start. Trust me, they're easy. It's not hard. All right, so tip number 1, jot down 5 characters from your top 5 anime that you really want to cosplay. And I'll say think hard on this one because, hey, you got to think this going to be your top 5 of all time, or maybe even your top 5 for right now. So go ahead and write those characters down. Tip number 2, circle the character you would like to do first. That's always a guaranteed fresh start for you. I used to do this all the time when I would get ready to do a cosplay, or I would put them in my iPhone notes. So when I go back and check my notes, they'll be right there. So if you don't necessarily want to do the whole pen and paper old school way, you can always use your iPhone and just, put those 5 characters in your notes and maybe take one of them, write them down, put them on a bulletin board, maybe a bulletin board, maybe put it on a magnet on your refrigerator so that way the longer you look at it, the more you'll be ready to do it. Come on now, magnet, picture, you gotta see it every day. Tip number 3, gather the materials you think you'll need for this character. And I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to that, think about what you already have at home. Think about what you already have at home that you could possibly use for this character. And if you have let's say their color schemes, their hair, maybe if you want to use your own hair and do the hair wax, that is also an option. I'll say whatever materials you don't have, do not worry about it. Don't worry about what you do not have. Don't overthink these cosplays, because guess what? A simple cosplay is just as good as an over-the-top one, okay? A simple cosplay is just as good as an over-the-top one. Don't overwork yourself on that. Just gather the materials that you think you're gonna need, including the clothes, the wig, the accessories if you have them at home. But if not, don't worry about it. You can cosplay with just the clothes. Ain't nobody gonna know who's gonna go. Tip number 4, do not overspend on your first cosplay. I know. Some of us, we got the cash to do it. But let's be honest. You want your first cosplay to not cost you an arm and a leg, whether it be to make, whether it's already pre-made, or whether it's custom made. We do not want to break our pockets. Not for the first cosplay. Absolutely not. My very first cosplay was probably maybe like $45. I would say that's pretty reasonable for a first cosplay, but your first cosplay shouldn't cost you $600 in both, like materials and fabrics and stuff like that. And if you buy the cosplay itself, it shouldn't cost you that much if it's your first one. Give yourself a little time before you start big spending on cosplay items. By the way, my daughter's in the background, y'all, so if y'all hear her, my bad. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. Last but certainly not least, put it on. See how you look. See how you're going to enjoy it. See what you need to change. See what you might want to redo. See if you like the hair that you put with it. See if you like the colors together. See if you like all the accessories that you decided to put with your cosplay. And if you enjoy everything being put together, hey, you good to go. Now, those are the tips I would give you for getting into cosplay. So now that we've gotten the tips for getting into cosplay out of the way, let's go into your tips for your very first con. All right. And tip number one that I would give you is to plan your cosplays ahead of the con, at least 2 months in advance to be exact. If you know that your cosplay is going to either take long to get here if you've ordered it, or take long for you to make, plan it ahead. I see a lot of people do con crunching and trying to do everything last minute. No, please don't do that. Plan your cosplays ahead of time. Please. That is tip number one. Don't forget it. That's very important. Plan your cosplays ahead of time for a convention, unless you're not cosplaying at all. Now, the only reason why I say plan it ahead is because I don't want you to tire yourself out before you even get to the convention. You don't want to be up for 2 days straight before a con, finishing your costume, and then you don't enjoy the convention because you're just tired. Granted, all of us get tired because we attempt to crunch, and some of us just don't sleep due to excitement. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that, but please plan your cosplays ahead so this doesn't happen to you. Tip number two for a convention, make sure you already have your pass, whether it be a 3-day pass or just a pass for the day of, and that's it. I still say it's more convenient to buy your pass ahead of time instead of the day of, because the day of the convention, they're usually really pricey. Like, I remember one convention I went to, it was Memphis Comic and Fantasy Con, and it was about like $85 for 2 of us, which was a crazy price considering that convention was not that long. But however, if you make it to like the early bird specials for most conventions, you can get your passes at a cheaper, and I mean much lower price than what you would have to spend the day of versus purchasing as soon as their pre-registration opens. Always get your tickets during pre-registration, and I cannot stress that enough. It's more helpful to you and your pockets. Remember, y'all, we're trying to save money. It's 2026. So tip number 3, now that you've made it inside your very first convention, what you want to do after you've grabbed your pass, you have on your cosplay and everything, you're looking amazing, you're looking great. You want to grab an event calendar, or maybe take a look at the event calendar online so you can plan out the events you want to go to. Sometimes there are so many panels at a con that you won't get the chance to make it to everything. And unfortunately, it happens a lot, especially with me too in conventions. Like, I remember one time I missed, I had missed a voiceover karaoke thing that I wanted to go to, and I was so mad because I was at another event. So I would always say, look at the event calendars and plan out which events you want to go to. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of things going on at once, you know, and sometimes there might be one event going on for the whole day of the con, and you just might be having so much fun that you kind of forget there's other stuff to do, you know. There's nothing wrong with that at all, but I say plan what events you want to do and plan what times. Remember the times that they start also. So always get those times down too, because I know there can be like a little bit of a time mix up when it comes to certain events. So just plan what events you want to go to. Make sure you remember those times. Set alarms if you have to. Set your reminders. You know, like, do it so you can get there. Okay, remember, these are for you and also for me, so I can go back and watch this video myself. So tip number 4 for a convention, and I'm going to tell you this with the utmost urgency: plan your con budget. Okay, plan your con budget. It is very important that you do this so you do not end up having to overspend on anything at a convention, including the food, which I'll probably get into for the next tip. But for right now, I want you to plan your con budget. What you don't want to do is come to a convention sad because you can't necessarily buy what you want, or feeling like if you spend too much, you won't have anything left over to take home. So I say plan your budget. Most things at conventions are really overpriced anyway, especially the food, because a lot of times, I'm not gonna lie to you, conventions do not serve the best food. I'll say the snacks are 10 times better than the food too. So, plan your con budget. You want to plan what you're gonna spend, what you may want or whatever. Like, even if it's just one specific item, I say bring you some money for food, bring you some money for maybe like a couple of items that you may want. But just know that these items at cons can run from at least $45 to almost $200 a piece. And I do mean that. I mean, shoot, a bag that my boyfriend got me at a con we went to a couple of years back, it cost him like a good $75 just to give me that. It was a Raya and the Last Dragon backpack, and I thought it was overpriced, but I understood why it was priced the way it was priced. It's because of where it was. Like a lot of this stuff we can get online way cheaper than what they're asking us to pay for it, but because it's there and we see it, we want it right then and there. So plan your con budget so that way you can get these items that you desire right then and there if you don't want to wait on them. Oh, tip number 5. Let's get into number 5 right here. This one is really, really important. It really is. I'll say eat. Make sure you eat before you leave. And also make sure that you have snacks. If you do not want to break your pockets at a convention, bring snacks that are a little bit more filling for you and that can at least hold you over until you're able to get to some food. Now, with this, I want to say eating before you even put your cosplay on, you should definitely do that. Eat a filling meal that can at least keep you full for majority of the day. That way you're not overspending on con snacks. You're not overspending on con food that probably isn't going to have you full. Like, I want you guys to go to conventions and actually have a good time and have food on your stomachs. Also, bring water. Bring your own bottled waters. Sometimes the waters at cons are so freaking expensive. Nobody should be paying $3 to $4 for one bottle of water. Seriously, nobody. So bring your water, bring your snacks. Make sure you eat before con, during con, and maybe after if you're still hungry. But bring your snacks. You should eat before, eat something a little bit more filling, but if you don't, then hey, eat during. But do not overspend on that con food. Find you a nearby spot that's a little bit cheaper. So I'll say look at the locations around the convention and see if there's anywhere else that you can possibly eat that may not be as costly. Now, what you don't want to do is dehydrate either while you're out there, because sometimes at conventions, some of us may wear costumes that'll have us a bit overheated, because it could be like a full body suit, could be a fursuit, for my furries out there, or it could be like a trench coat cosplay that has you sweating, your perfume, your cologne, your deodorant, everything off. Hydrate, 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 hydrate. I cannot stress that enough. Hydrate. And also, please make sure that you are staying hydrated. Hydrate, y'all. Hydrate and eat. Those are the number two. Those are the two things you need to be doing. Tip number 6. This one's important too. Very, very important. I feel like there needs to be a talk on con safety. And this part might be a little lengthy because I really want y'all to be safe. So for number 6, don't go with anybody you don't know anywhere. Just don't. If you are at a con by yourself, still, yes, we are in a community that is supposed to be safe, but that does not guarantee that the person behind the costume is a safe person. You do not know them. If they're offering you a drink, you should go to the bar and have them refix it for you. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't see that drink being poured, do not drink it. Don't. If you didn't see them freshly open that bottle of Sprite and pour you some, don't drink that. Don't let anybody give you any substances that you are unfamiliar with. Don't let them peer pressure you into anything you do not want to do. It is your body, your choice. You do not have to do anything you are uncomfortable with. And if somebody makes you feel uncomfortable, find who makes you comfortable enough so you can get that person out of there. Or call somebody that you already know and trust who might be at the con to come and help you out of these situations if you can. I had heard a story maybe 2 years back at ABC Con where I'm trying not to cry, but because I'm really sensitive when it comes to this stuff, but I had heard a story where somebody got roofied and they ended up getting raped. And I couldn't bear the thought of seeing that happen to anybody else, especially anybody who's just starting out with conventions. Like, please stay safe. Also, bring condoms if you know you're gonna be doing it, because some of y'all con goers some little jackrabbits, and I want y'all to protect yourselves, please, because not everybody that's in a costume, like I'll say this again, is a decent person. Some of these folks are just as bad within the community as they are out. I hope you guys have enjoyed my tips on how to get into cosplay, as well as my tips for your very first convention. Good night. Mwah. Best wishes to all you new cosplayers out there.
Come and talk to me, I really